tonight's dinner chat, have you ever made a decision for your own life and someone acted like you had betrayed them? Well, tonight's dinner chat is why controlling people call your independence disrespect. So have you ever started to make your own decisions? Started to manage your own money, choose your own friends, set your own schedule, and you stop asking for permission, and suddenly you hear, you don't respect me anymore. You've changed. You think that you know everything. You're becoming selfish. Well, here's the question. Is your independence actually disrespect, or are they upset that they can no longer control the decision? So grab dinner, grab your coffee, grab your sweet tea, and let's chat about it. So independence is not disrespect. Being independent doesn't automatically mean that you don't care about people. You can still love people, you can still be connected to the family, and still make your own decisions. You can still be friends with people and make your own decisions. You can respect someone and disagree with them. You can listen to advice without automatically following it. So you can value someone else's opinion without giving them control over your life. Respect and obedience are not the same things. Controlling people can confuse access with authority. Some people are so accustomed by nature of their habits, by the patterns that they grew up in, to having unlimited access to your decisions. They know where you're going. They know who you're talking to. They know what you're spending. They know what you're doing. They know what you're planning. And when you stop sharing everything, they feel threatened immediately. They may say, why didn't you tell me? But sometimes the better question is always, why do you believe that you're entitled to make decisions for me? Here's another one. I'm just trying to help. Not every piece of advice is controlling. Healthy advice sounds like, well, let me just tell you what I think based on my experience, based on my education, based on my perception of the issue at hand. However, ultimately, the choice is yours to make. Control sounds more like this. If you don't do what I say, you're disrespecting me. If you don't do what I say, you're going to make the family look bad. If you don't do what I say, you're going to embarrass me. That is a major difference. Advice gives you information. Control demands compliance, obedience, and submission. Your no may reveal the real problem. When you've always said yes, people can become so comfortable, complacent, and just downright at ease with your agreement and compliance to their whims, and then you pull the rug out from under them and you say no. And instead of accepting your answer, they debate it, they threaten you, they manipulate you, they gaslight you, they guilt you, they pressure you, they become angry with you, they bully you, and then they bring up everything that they've ever done for you. Then they try to make you feel like you're selfish and you're the problem. At that point, the conversation may no longer be about what you said no to you. It may be about their inability to accept the fact that they can't control you and that you have the right to say no. Independence can feel like loss of control. Imagine someone has always influenced your decisions, and then one day you say and decide that I'm going to do whatever I decide that I want to do. They may feel like they're losing their position in your life. They may feel like that accusations can begin. They may feel like that you don't need them anymore. They may feel like they think that you are better than me. They may think that you don't care about the family. But becoming independent doesn't necessarily mean that you're rejecting them. It may simply mean that you are becoming responsible for your own life. Healthy relationships allow individuality. Healthy relationships don't require two people to become one person. You can have separate opinions, separate interests, separate friendships, separate goals, separate careers, and still deeply care, love, and respect one another. A healthy relationship makes room for I love you and I don't agree with you. That is wisdom, maturity, and just real life experience. Control often hides behind guilt. Listen carefully to statements like, after everything I've done for you, if you loved me, you'd listen. I guess you don't need me anymore. You're embarrassing the family. You're choosing them over us. These statements may create guilt instead of having a direct conversation about the actual issue. And guilt can become a tool for control. You don't have to feel guilty about simply making adult decisions for your own life. You don't have to feel guilty about regarding your own feelings in preference to another person's feelings. Number 8, you do not need permission from anybody to grow, change, or improve your life. Sometimes people are comfortable with the version of you who needed their approval, their control, and just them in general. Then you begin to grow. You begin to change. The confidence begins. You start trusting and using your own judgment. You stop asking, is it okay if I blank? Then you start saying, here's what I'm going to do. This is the course of action I've decided. That can be uncomfortable for people who benefited from your dependence and access to your time, your resources, and you. But growth does not require their permission. It just requires you using your ability to reason, to logic, and to do what you know in your heart and what is right in your mind and what is best for your life. Independence doesn't mean that you never need anyone. There's another important balance. Being independent doesn't mean refusing help. It doesn't mean ignoring good advice. It doesn't mean believing that you know everything. And it doesn't mean becoming emotionally unavailable. Healthy independence means I can listen to you without surrendering my ability to decide. You can accept help without being controlled by anyone who has helped you in the past. Don't confuse control with care. Sometimes they can genuinely care about you and still behave in controlling ways. Intentions matter. The way people do things matter. The way people act matters. And the impact that it has in your life matters as well. Someone might say, I'm only doing this because I love you. But if their version of love requires you to surrender your choices, who you are, that is something worth examining. Healthy love says, I want what's best for you. Control and manipulation says, I need you to do what I think is best. Or you are listening to me and you are part of this family and you're going to do what we tell you to do. Your independence requires new boundaries. Sometimes independence means deciding what information to share. Not everybody needs to know every detail of your life. You don't have to announce every decision before you make it. You don't have to defend every choice that you make. You don't have to debate boundaries indefinitely. Sometimes you can just simply say, listen, I appreciate your concern. However, I've made my choice, and if you don't like it, I'm sorry, but it's my choice. It's going to be done the way that I desire it to be done. And that is more than enough. Expect pushback when the patterns and the cycles change. If people were accustomed to controlling you, your first boundaries will create resistance, resentment, and sometimes anger. Don't automatically interpret that resistance is proof that your boundary is wrong. Sometimes people push harder when they realize the old strategy isn't working anymore. Stay respectful. Stay consistent. Don't retaliate. Don't become controlling yourself. Just hold to your boundaries and be transparent and accountable with them. So, what can we take away from tonight's discussion? Independence is not disrespect. Independence is just freedom and using logic and reason and good wisdom and common sense to rationalize, understand, and more importantly, to use those patterns to help guide, direct, and form your life. Having your own opinions is not disrespect. Making your own decisions is not disrespect. Setting boundaries is not disrespect. Growing into a more confident person, a stronger person, a person who is not afraid to stick their neck on the line, take risks, and do something that no one else has ever done is not disrespect. You can respect someone without surrendering your freedom, your autonomy, and more importantly, your peace, your sanity, and your safety, your emotional safety. You can love people and not allow them to control you, dictate, demand, gaslight, or manipulate you. You can listen to someone's advice without making their approval the demand for your life. Sometimes the person calling your independence disrespect isn't asking for respect. They are demanding control and access to you and your resources. And there is a huge, huge difference. Your job isn't to become rebellious just to prove the point. Your job is to become responsible for your own life. So open your mind, open your heart, and think to yourself. Take responsibility for your choices. Set healthy boundaries. And don't surrender your independence simply because someone is uncomfortable with it. Because there's a lot of things in this life that people are uncomfortable with. And if they're uncomfortable with your independence, then they are not healthy people that you need to have in your life. So, have you ever made an independent decision and had someone accuse you of being disrespectful? Did they say, "You've changed. You don't respect me anymore. You think you know everything"? Or they use guilt. "After everything I've done for you, I've done this for you." So here's the thing. Where do you draw that transparent line between respecting someone else's opinion and allowing them to control your decision? So please share your thoughts in the community comment. So let's keep our conversation respectful, because independence comes with responsibility, accountability, transparency, and consideration for other people, not with the loss of your right to make your own choices. You can be firm, you can be direct, and still be respectful and kind to other people. So Midwest Survivor, how do I always leave you? Get healthy, be healthy, stay healthy, get strong, be strong, stay strong, and remember, taking back your life and being independent is not just surviving, but it's learning how to thrive. We thrive emotionally, we thrive mentally, we thrive as people in our health, and we thrive financially, because it's not about surviving, my friends. It's about learning to thrive. Y'all take care. Have a good evening. I'll see you tomorrow morning for Breakfast Bits. Sleep well, and remember, it's not about surviving.